All right, I just wanted to go over like the current state of my text generator. And so if I were to double click on the Python script, it'll load up in a nice little window. And all it's looking for input is just like photos of images with writing on it. So if I grab, just for the sake of it, like the A, and load it up, you'll notice there's a couple of settings automatically set, and you can just click and drag and also zoom around in here, all written in pyqt. And if I were to, with the default settings even are pretty reasonable, that you click on it, you can even see that there's like it tries to account for everything. The threshold is maybe a little bit too low. I can raise it up and it'll grab all of those tiny little markings on it. Or I could say, I'm just going to clear that. Or I can say sample color, kind of draw around it. And okay, it'd be easier to even show down here. When I do sample color, you notice that the color box is getting like wherever you're moving the mouse, that it's sampling all the colors, it'll blend them all together. So you get like a threshold that is calculated on the fly. So if I click on it, now you notice it's grabbing even more, and actually it's actually pretty reasonable. I'm just going to say -1. This is like the threshold that it can grab. So I can say like -5. It'll actually iterate through 5 steps, cutting away from the found area. Now 5, I guess, is a fair bit, but you notice that it cut into it pretty far. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say 1. And I sampled a image over a little thing over there. That wasn't good. So I'm just going to click again, have it load up. And I'm going to just say read fitted scaling. It will load it in, find the alpha for it, find the information that it needs, and display it for me. Now you can see that there's a little bit of an outline around it. So you know what? I'm going to just say -2, just for the sake of making this look a little nicer. Now, it's sort of intended that you have a slight, you lean toward being on the thinner side than the fatter side, because it's actually reaching out a little bit with the alpha. Now this might be a little bit slow, but if I set it to like 4 on the alpha, you'll even see down here when it loads, it's still a little slow, but you can even see down here there's like a slight fade from the inside, and you can even see the page a little bit. So I'm just going to set that back down to 2, just so it's a little bit more reasonable. And here you can change all your settings. Like if I click and drag on the left side, that's sort of like the left border of the character, and then the right border of the character, and then the baseline of the character. So where it lines up on the bottom, where it'll assume to start the character on the left, and then where the character ends on the right. Now this is kind of slanted a little bit, so I can just say degree rotation. I'm going to say -4 degrees. Now this is counterclockwise is negative and clockwise is positive, and you can see maybe it's a little bit too far, but for the sake of it, I can just leave the settings for now and just say finish character. It'll save in here. All I do is hit A, like what the character is, and it'll say char A low, like lower, and _1, supporting as many characters as I want. If I made another one, it'll be _2. Now if I wanted to test out the character, I could load in a fake little page, which this one has like a couple of different colors that you can just click and drag. So it doesn't do anything. This is just a test bed. But if I type in A a couple of times, you notice maybe there's a little bit too much spacing between it. But if you click on any of them, right now it's just 1. But if you click on any of them, I'm going to turn on auto update. I should just leave that on by default. And then update, let's say the left border, you'll notice that it pulls in a fair bit. But the right border is probably the main issue right now. So you can change it so that they're all lined up in a somewhat close little proximity of each other. Then your scale right down here is how much it scales it before placing it. So you can scale it down a little bit, place it so that it's like exactly where you want, your lower characters to be. And you can always come in here and change where you're low, where you're lining up your low, or lining up your top even. So let's just say that this is fine. You can say export character list. It'll actually export all of them so that when you load it up again, well, of course I didn't save anything, but I'm just going to hit discard. If I load up one that I've already saved, let's say just leave it be as is, load in another page. I need to figure out a better way of doing this, just to have like a file pull down load. But you notice all the characters are now loaded in that I've generated in the past, and I can just, use the test bed again, or I can go over to the page output, go over to generate a new page, load in the background of the page, and you have a whole bunch of options like the text size, like the left border, right border, top border, and everything else. And you can just say like the top border, it'll come down, like that's where the text will start from. So let me, and the reason it's a little bit slow is that it's trying to auto update. Test page, new line. And then I don't know. It'll also detect open, close parentheses and marks and things. So I could say like, "Whoo," and then if it detects a B and then another marking, so it won't be who, but it'll be who, and then a B being backspace or the backslash. I'm sure this will become some issues because like if I do double B, that's like doing a double backslash to cancel out in code, and you could do that for quotes as well, double quote. Ooh, that's whatever, it doesn't really matter. And I can say generate, and you notice that you have the front tick and the back tick for both of them, and if I change that, hit generate again, it updates. Maybe the font size is a little bit too large. I can scale it down a little bit. This section I'm currently working on the most because right now you can't save out existing data, but I'm currently working into it a per word, per character size, like scale of words or color tone or something, and then you can just hit export pages, it will export it. But like this is all the data that was generated for generating this page, and so I'm going to have it in the same way that it remembered all of the characters, that it'll save that out, and then when you open it up again, it'll load up all the pages for you that you've already done. You just click on a page, same type of thing as the character builder, click on a page, you can edit the page in here, and just hit export pages. And what it will end up doing is exporting an image that you can use as a texture map or whatever it is that you're, why can't I? Okay, as a texture map or whatever it is that you're trying to use them for. So I do need to redo the entire alphabet because I started realizing like things just don't look quite right, because I was doing it on a lineless page, no ruling. So the ruling, I have a book now to do ruling, so it'll be better again, but this will be, I guess, the third time that I'm redoing the alphabet. All right, well, that's the current state of the text generator.